Have you ever noticed your dog acting strangely, as if seeing or hearing something you can't, growling at nothing, avoiding certain places without explanation, or even predicting things before they happen? Well, it's not just your imagination. Dogs have abilities that defy our understanding. They can see invisible light frequencies, hear ultrasonic sounds, and even perceive energies that we simply ignore. But here's an even more chilling detail. There are reports of dogs sensing the imminent death of a person and staying by their side until the end. Others have reacted to invisible presences or warned their owners about disasters before any sign of danger appeared. Do dogs have a sixth sense? Or is there a scientific explanation for this? Today, you'll discover 12 incredible abilities your dog has that you never imagined. Some are backed by science, while others venture into the realm of spirituality, and I guarantee at least one of them will leave you speechless. Before we begin, tell me in the comments, has your dog ever done something unexplainable? Have you noticed them reacting to something you couldn't see or hear? I want to hear your stories. Let's dive in. Dogs possess a sixth sense that challenges human comprehension. They perceive vibrations and subtle changes in the environment. Before anything actually happens, have you ever noticed your dog getting restless for no apparent reason? Many times, they are reacting to something you can't detect, whether it's a shift in the house's energy, a repressed emotion, or even the presence of something invisible to the human eye. This is not mere coincidence. It's part of the incredible perception dogs have. This extreme sensitivity allows dogs to detect emotional changes in their owners before they even realize it themselves. If you've ever been sad or anxious and noticed your dog coming to comfort you, know that they didn't just sense your mood change, they felt your emotional vibrations. This explains why many dogs act protectively or become uneasy in certain situations. They are picking up on what lies beneath the surface of reality. Science is still working to fully understand this ability, but studies show that dogs can detect subtle variations in breathing, heart rate, and even a person's scent, which changes according to their emotions. That moment when your dog growls for no apparent reason might be linked to negative energy in the environment. In some cultures, it is believed that dogs can see beyond the physical world, accessing spiritual dimensions that escape human perception. This explains why, throughout history, dogs have been seen as spiritual guardians. From ancient Egypt to shamanic beliefs, they have always been considered protectors between worlds, warning of unseen dangers. But what exactly do they see? And how does this connect to the spiritual world? Dogs don't just sense their owner's energy. They also pick up on subtle vibrations in their surroundings. Have you ever noticed your dog staring at an empty corner of the house or growling at something that isn't there? This might indicate that they are detecting something beyond our reach. Whether it's a shift in the electromagnetic field, a spiritual presence, or even residual energy left behind by someone who was once there, dogs have the incredible ability to react to unseen forces. This perception also explains why dogs sometimes avoid certain people or places. They pick up on a person's intentions and emotions before any action is taken. If a stranger approaches and your dog backs away or becomes alert, they may be responding to something you're not consciously aware of. In ancient cultures, dogs were believed to be spiritual guides precisely because of this ability to detect and interact with energies beyond our limited vision. Additionally, there are reports of dogs refusing to enter certain rooms or acting unusually around specific objects. This might be linked to energetic memories stored in the environment. Some holistic therapies suggest that dogs can absorb and even transform dense energies, helping their owners maintain a more balanced vibration. No wonder they seem like a true emotional relief in difficult moments. If your dog starts acting strangely for no apparent reason, maybe it's time to pay closer attention to your surroundings. What has changed? Has someone new been around? Is there something in the space that could be holding past emotions? Sometimes, our four-legged friends see what we choose to ignore. But what happens when this perception goes beyond the physical world and enters the realm of the spiritual? There are countless reports of dogs reacting to things we can't see, whether barking at an empty corner, following something invisible with their eyes, or showing unexplained signs of alertness. Many believe these behaviors indicate that dogs perceive spirits and non-material entities. This would explain why, in various cultures, they are considered spiritual guardians, protecting their owners from negative influences from the unseen world. Some incredible stories tell of dogs refusing to enter certain places or showing fear without any logical reason. There are cases of dogs howling at specific times of the night or appearing to play with something that isn't there. Skeptics may attribute this to their heightened hearing or vision, but for those who believe in the spirituality of animals, it's a clear sign that dogs can detect presences beyond our perception. Interestingly, ancient beliefs have long linked dogs to the spiritual realm. In ancient Egypt, Anubis, the god of the dead, was depicted with the head of a jackal, symbolizing the connection between dogs and the spirit world. Some indigenous tribes believe that dogs can ward off evil spirits, serving as true spiritual protectors. Whether myth or reality, the fact remains that your dog might be reacting to something you simply can't see. If your dog repeatedly displays unusual behaviors, it may be worth observing the context. Are they trying to warn you about something? Are they uncomfortable in a specific room? Or are they simply picking up on subtle energetic shifts that we, as humans, tend to ignore? And what happens when this perception extends beyond the spiritual and into the physical, detecting something even more astonishing? Dogs have such a powerful sense of smell that they can detect diseases long before doctors do. There are reports of dogs persistently sniffing a specific area of their owner's body, only for medical tests to later reveal a tumor in that exact spot. This happens because dogs can perceive chemical changes in the human body, detecting compounds released that indicate illnesses like cancer, diabetes, and even epileptic seizures before they occur. What's even more impressive is that this ability is being studied by science. There are trained dogs that can detect hypoglycemia in diabetics, alerting their owners before their blood sugar drops to dangerous levels. Others can identify signs of seizures before the person feels any symptoms, allowing for preventive measures to be taken. In hospitals and clinics, disease-sniffing dogs are increasingly being used for early diagnoses, but even without training, many dogs demonstrate this ability instinctively. If your dog starts sniffing the same spot on your body insistently, or shows excessive concern about your behavior, it could be a sign that something needs attention. This canine sensitivity shows just how deeply our four-legged friends are connected to us, perceiving internal changes that we may not even notice ourselves. Now, if dogs can sense what's happening inside our bodies, could they also detect invisible forces around us? And more importantly, does their perception extend only to humans? Or can they also pick up changes in the natural environment, predicting events beyond our imagination? Dogs have a hidden sense that helps them navigate the world, the ability to detect Earth's magnetic field. Like migratory birds and sea turtles, dogs seem to use these invisible forces to orient themselves and even align their movements. Studies show that when relieving themselves, many dogs instinctively position themselves along the north-south axis, an intriguing behavior that puzzles scientists and reinforces the idea that they can perceive the Earth's magnetism. This magnetic sensitivity could also explain how some dogs manage to find their way home, even from miles away. There are countless stories of lost dogs traveling long distances to reunite with their owners, with no logical explanation for how they did it. Is it just an extraordinary sense of smell, or is there something deeper tied to this unique perception of the Earth's magnetic field? Science is still working to unravel this mystery, but one thing is certain: dogs have an extraordinary internal compass. Additionally, some researchers believe that dogs can sense magnetic disturbances before earthquakes or sudden weather changes. If dogs do use the Earth's magnetic field to guide themselves, it makes sense that they could detect shifts before humans notice any signs. This would make them excellent natural indicators of impending environmental changes, which could explain why they often become restless before natural disasters. If your dog starts behaving oddly in certain locations or avoids specific directions during a walk, they might be picking up on something you don't perceive. But if they can sense Earth's magnetism, could they also detect even more subtle and dangerous signals, like the approach of major natural disasters? There have been reports of dogs predicting natural disasters for centuries. Before earthquakes, many people noticed their dogs acting strangely, barking for no reason, trying to escape, or showing signs of extreme agitation. Scientists believe this happens because dogs can sense seismic vibrations and changes in air pressure before any human equipment detects an imminent quake. This behavior has been documented before major earthquakes around the world. Beyond tremors, dogs can also anticipate storms and hurricanes. Changes in static electricity, variations in humidity, and subtle shifts in atmospheric pressure can all be detected by their keen sense of smell and heightened physical sensitivity. Many owners notice their dogs becoming restless, seeking shelter, or refusing to go outside just before a major storm. In some regions, animal behavior is even used as a factor in predicting severe weather events. What's most fascinating is that this ability isn't limited to one specific type of disaster. There are records of dogs behaving unusually before tsunamis and volcanic eruptions, as if they sense changes in the earth before any other living creature. If humans paid more attention to these signals, we might be better prepared for certain natural events. It's no wonder that in some cultures, dogs are seen as nature's true sentinels. If your dog suddenly starts acting strangely with no clear reason, it might be worth paying closer attention to your surroundings. Maybe they're picking up on something you haven't yet noticed. But what if this sensitivity isn't just related to the physical world, but also to the energy of people? What happens when dogs detect hidden emotions and intentions? Dogs are true experts at reading human emotions. They don't just sense when we're happy or sad. They pick up on subtle variations in tone of voice, facial expressions, and even the rhythm of our breathing. That's why, when you're feeling down or anxious, your dog might silently come and lay beside you. They don't need you to say anything. They already know what's happening and want to comfort you. Studies show that dogs can distinguish between happy and sad tones of voice, reacting differently to each. They also instinctively learn to interpret human body language. If a stranger approaches their owner with tension or aggression, the dog often becomes alert, even without any obvious signs of danger. This emotional sensitivity explains why so many dogs are used as therapy animals for people with depression, anxiety, and even PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. Dogs' perception goes beyond just emotional comfort. They can also detect when we are sick or physically vulnerable. Many people report that their dogs become more protective when they are ill, displaying a natural instinct to care. This deep-rooted connection between humans and dogs reinforces the idea that these animals are not just companions, but also true emotional guardians. If your dog seems to know exactly when you need affection or protection, it's not a coincidence. They are reading your energy and responding intuitively. But what happens when this perception goes beyond emotions and into the realm of fear and intuition about hidden intentions? How do dogs recognize danger before it even happens? One thing dogs detect with precision is fear. They notice the slightest changes in body language and even the scent that humans release during moments of anxiety. When someone is afraid, their body emits specific pheromones that dogs can pick up instantly. That's why they often react differently to certain people, even when those individuals seem harmless to us. Beyond fear, dogs also sense negative intentions. If someone approaches with hostile energy or hidden bad intentions, a dog's behavior can change immediately. They may growl, bark, or simply position themselves between their owner and the person in question. This is why dogs are often used as protectors and even in security roles. Their sharp instincts can distinguish a friendly approach from one that may bring danger. There are countless stories of dogs saving their owners from dangerous situations simply by trusting this perception. Some have refused to let their owners enter certain places or have become aggressive around particular individuals, only for it to later be revealed that there was a real threat. This protective instinct is one of the reasons dogs are considered so loyal. They don't just accompany us, they also shield us from dangers we can't see. If your dog seems suspicious of someone or a particular place, it's worth paying attention. Often, they are sensing something that escapes your notice. But this perception isn't limited to people. It extends to the environment and subtle natural changes as well. Can dogs predict weather changes before any meteorological forecast? Before a storm, many dogs start showing signs of restlessness. They sense shifts in atmospheric pressure and humidity levels before the sky even darkens. They also perceive static, electricity in the air, which explains why some dogs become extremely anxious or try to hide before a storm or heavy rain. While humans rely on weather forecasts, dogs already know what's coming just by trusting their heightened senses. Some dogs exhibit specific behaviors in response to certain weather conditions. For example, before strong winds, many begin sniffing the air intensely, picking up scents that travel faster with air currents. On very hot days, they may become lazier and seek cooler spots, anticipating sudden temperature changes. This instinctive perception makes dogs living weather sensors. Another fascinating aspect is how dogs react to thunder and lightning. Some experience extreme fear even before the first rumble of thunder because they can detect sound vibrations at frequencies beyond human hearing. The static electricity in the air can also cause discomfort in their fur, making them more sensitive to the environment. This explains why many dogs try to hide during storms. It's not just fear of the noise, but a physical reaction to the changes around them. If your dog starts acting strangely for no apparent reason, pay attention to the weather. They might be predicting changes you haven't noticed yet. But what if their sensitivity isn't just about the weather, but something much deeper? The final moments of life. How do dogs sense death before it happens? There are countless stories of dogs staying close to someone just before their passing, as if they know what's about to happen. This can be explained both scientifically and spiritually. From a biological standpoint, dogs detect subtle changes in scent and breathing patterns, sensing when the body is shutting down. From an energetic perspective, many believe that dogs perceive the transition between life and death in a way that humans cannot. Hospitals and nursing homes have documented cases of dogs instinctively approaching patients in their final moments. A famous example is Oscar, a cat in a US nursing home known for lying beside patients before they passed away. Though he was a cat, many dogs exhibit similar behavior, becoming more protective or offering comfort to those nearing the end of life. Additionally, ancient beliefs link dogs to the spiritual realm, suggesting they can guide souls to the other side. Some cultures claim that dogs not only sense approaching death, but also see spirits near a person in their last moments. This could explain why some dogs howl without any apparent reason, as howling is often associated with omens and spiritual transitions. If your dog starts behaving unusually around a sick person, showing unusual affection or attachment, it might be a sign that they perceive something humans have yet to notice. But their perception isn't limited to death. they can also hear sounds far beyond human range. What could they be hearing that we cannot? Dogs live in a much broader world of sound than we do. While humans can hear frequencies between 20 Hz and 20,000 Hz, dogs can perceive sounds up to 75,000 Hz. This means they can hear things that are completely silent to us, like ultrasonic alarms, high-frequency whistles, and even the movement of small insects. If your dog has ever seemed alert or started barking for no apparent reason, they might be hearing something you simply can't pick up. This extraordinary hearing has an evolutionary purpose. In the past, dogs' ancestors relied on this sharp sense to hunt prey that emitted high-frequency sounds, like small rodents. Today, this ability makes many dogs react to sounds imperceptible to us, such as the vibration of electronic devices, the creaking of pipes, or even the sound of a car approaching long before it becomes visible. This also explains why some dogs fear storms even before the first thunderclap. They hear the movement of clouds, changes in air pressure, and even the earliest sounds of a storm forming. That's why many dogs seek shelter or show anxiety well before there's any visible sign in the sky. Your dog might be reacting to something real, even if it seems like they are acting strangely for no reason. If your dog appears uncomfortable or alert without explanation, try observing the environment. They may be picking up ultrasonic sounds that completely escape human perception. But if they can hear beyond what we see, could they also see things beyond our visual spectrum? Dogs perceive a world entirely different from ours. While humans see within a limited color spectrum, dogs have the ability to detect ultraviolet light. This means they can see patterns and reflections that are invisible to us, such as urine trails left by other animals, natural markings on plants, and even hidden details on certain objects. What seems like an ordinary environment to us might be full of hidden signals for them. This ability explains why dogs sometimes fixate on something we simply can't see. Might be detecting ultraviolet markings on the ground, biological traces left by other animals, or even variations in light reflections on certain materials. Additionally, some researchers believe this unique vision may help them detect illnesses, since some medical conditions alter how the skin reflects light. Another fascinating factor is that ultraviolet vision allows dogs to see better in low-light conditions. While they don't perceive colors the same way humans do, they make up for it with incredible sensitivity to light and movement. This could explain why they often seem to notice something in the distance before we even realize anything is there. If your dog starts staring at a fixed point, following something invisible, or reacting to a reflection you don't notice, they might be seeing something that completely escapes your vision. In the end, all these incredible abilities show that dogs live in a world far richer and more complex than we imagine. And perhaps that's the true magic of the connection between humans and dogs. While we take care of them, they protect us, guide us, and reveal a universe we could never perceive on our own. After learning all this, it's impossible to look at dogs the same way, right? They're not just loyal companions, but living sensors of the world around us. Whether sensing subtle energies, hearing ultrasonic frequencies, or even predicting disasters, dogs have abilities far beyond what we imagine. Now, tell me in the comments, has your dog ever done something unexplainable? Have you noticed them reacting to something you couldn't see or hear? I'd love to hear your stories, and if you enjoyed this content, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss any videos. Because one thing's for sure, dogs still have a lot to teach us.